Hey, badass business owners. Today I want to go over something I haven't talked about in quite a while, but it is actually one of the most important things that you can do in your business. But before we completely dive in, I want you to go on a trip with me. And I promise you this trip is going to make sense here shortly. So what we're going to do is we are going to go on a trip to your favorite big box retailer. I don't care if that's a grocery store, if that is a hardware store, if that is a Walmart or an electronics store. Doesn't really matter. Just pick your favorite big box retailer. And what you're going to do, you're going to hop in your car right now and you are going to drive over there. Now we pull into the parking lot and we discover that the place is busy and we start going up and down the aisles trying to find a parking space. And we finally find a parking space, so we go to pull in and yep, it has carts inside of it. And it is frustrating because now we either have to get out of the car and move the carts in order to be able to park, or move on and try to find another parking space. We decide that there is about 8 of these suckers. We're just going to keep moving on. You're getting very frustrated at this point because you realize that this is not fun. You are trying to just go to shop. But anyways, you happen to pull in, you're out in the North 40 and you finally find a parking spot. And so you park the car and you start to head in. And you notice as you're walking in that nobody has been giving any kind of maintenance to this parking lot all day long. Not only are there shopping carts everywhere, but there's trash. The trash cans are overflowing and there needs to be some TLC out here. You start to approach the building and you notice when you start to get to the entrance, something very similar, because obviously if nobody's been looking at the parking lot, nobody's been looking at the front doors. Trash cans are once again overflowing. There's stuff all over the floor because people are rude and they just throw their crap on the floor. And, some bubble gum stuff sitting right there, just trash, whatever the case may be. You're just like, oh, okay. You go to grab a cart. The carts are full of trash still. You're like, oh my God, you can't get them apart. Or the opposite is true. There's no carts up there at all because they're all out in the parking lot. So at this phase, you're kind of frustrated. But you came here for a reason. So you grab your cart and you head into the store. Now, when you go into the store, does anyone say hi to you? Or do you just kind of go in? Now, for most of us, I don't need somebody to be at the front door to say hi to me. I'm perfectly okay. I know what I'm here for. That one doesn't bother me so much. Some people, they want to be said hi to. But I will tell you, there's a big difference between when somebody greets you right away and at least says hi, kind of gives you a little pep in your step, if you will, especially if it's a small store. So maybe not so much in a big box retail store, but if you go into a small mom and pop or a smaller store, it does make a big difference. But let's just say that nobody's there to say hi to you and you kind of start to go shopping. The aisles are full of stuff. You're having to climb over things. Nobody's been maintaining the aisles. You're trying to look for what it is that you're trying to look for. Well, you get to the area because you know what it is that you want, and you discover that there are none in stock. So the first thought you have is, oh, there's got to be some in the back. Which, by the way, is a big fallacy for most big box retailers. If they're not on the shelf, they're not there. Or they might have just come in and they're packed on a bunch of pallets and they're in the back and nobody's going to be able to get to them. The only things that are really held in the back somewhere are going to be because they're big, bulky things and can't be on the shelf right there. But most things, especially if they're smaller, if they're not on the shelf, they don't have them. If it's like a Home Depot or Lowe's, they might be in the racking above that location, but very rarely is anything going to be in the back. So I always laugh at that one. Now, let's just say that you were lucky enough to find what it is that you were looking for, but then you discovered a different problem. You have no idea how much it costs because the signs have been ripped off or torn, and you have no idea what it is that it is going to be for the day. Now, that may not matter to you. You might have a general idea, so you just throw it in your cart anyways. But otherwise, you have to try to find someone to be able to help you learn what the price of this product is that you want to buy. And that alone could be a fun adventure depending upon how many employees this store has. Some big box retailers have a lot of employees in it, but most big box retailers have gone to a point where it's very difficult for you to find an employee because there's like one employee for every 10 aisles. If you're lucky. There are a lot of businesses now that really don't have a lot of people on the floor because they reserve the people that they hire for the floor staff to actually work to unload and unpack and put things away. So you're finding them more at the nighttime to be able to do the stocking. But let's just say you go off on an adventure to figure out what that price is. And they either have a little scanning machine, or you have to take it up to the front, or just say whatever, throw it in your cart, and heck it, I'll figure this out when I get to the register. Now, let's just say you have something else that you need to get. So you go to another section and you're not quite sure what it is that you're getting or how to use it, and you want to touch and feel it. So you go to a section that has displays, but you pick up the displays and they're kind of falling apart. Nobody's really been maintaining them. Or they're like screwed like crazy too. I always laugh when you go to look at the phones and they don't move. And you're like, well, I just want to hold it. I want to see what it feels like. But no, you can't do that because somebody at some point tried to steal them, so you can't hold them. Now, I like it when they have at least that thing and you can pick them up and you can still touch them. So that kind of feels kind of good. So the displays are either going to be a really good experience for you or they're going to be a bad experience. Now, as I go through all of these experiences that you're experiencing in your big box retailer, some of you are going to go, you know what? My big box retailer never has any of these problems. It's always well ran. It's always in stock. Everything's clean. I love this place because of that. That is fantastic. That's actually the experience as a business owner you want to have. For some of you, you're like, oh my gosh, Tammy, are you in my store? This is exactly what I go through. Now, I'm going to say all of you have been in the really bad experienced big box retailers, but yet you've also experienced the good. And if you haven't, I feel bad for you. You need to really get out more. But here's the thing we all know. The way that store is run, yes, you could say and blame the big part of the company. I'm going to tell you, after my 25 years in big box retailing, it comes down to the store manager and the crew inside of that store. Because if that store manager made a priority for you to have a wonderful, great experience as a customer, it would start out in that parking lot. Because they would be walking their store on a regular basis and seeing what it is that the customer experiences. Matter of fact, back in my day, I would do this all the time. From the time I started as a department supervisor all the way through my time being a district manager as well as regional staff, I would do this. You have to walk your store through customers' eyes. Now, some of you are right now saying, Tammy, that's all well and good, but I don't have a store. Now, this is where I want to circle back with this, because remember what I said, it is about the customer experience. Now, many of you do not own a big box retailer. Many of you do not own a store at all. Some of you do. There are some of you that have a physical brick and mortar location. So obviously this story might resonate with you a little bit more. But I'm going to pull this back a little bit because I want this story to resonate with all of you. It comes down to the customer experience. The customer is having an experience from the very moment they make a decision to use your business. Think about it. When you first went to your big box retailer, you had to fight the parking lot. You had to fight the traffic. You had to fight the carts. You had to fight everything in order to be able to even get into the store. And honestly, before you even went through those doors, you were already feeling something. You were either already frustrated because of the experience you went through, or you were already feeling good because it was a great experience. So think about your business for a minute. Let's just say you have a service-based business. There is no brick and mortar. Well, how do they find you in the first place? How do they get a hold of you? If they go to look for you on the internet and try to find how to get a hold of you, can they do that? Or is that a really bad experience? And if they do find you on the internet, does it have your phone number? Does it have your email? Does it have a way to contact you? If not, do they have to hunt? Do they really have to search super hard to try to find you? Because if they do, they're experiencing that exact same feeling that you were trying to get into that big box retailer. You haven't even gotten through the doors yet. You haven't even talked to anybody. You haven't even had a chance to purchase, and you're already emotionally feeling good or feeling bad about trying to contact this business. Same thing when they get a hold of you. Is that something where they get put to a voicemail? Are they told when you're going to call back? Are they left wondering what's going on? What are they experiencing? See, this is why it's important for us to always look at our business through the customer's eyes, because they feel something when they're going through each and every one of your businesses. Now, yes, you may not have displays and you may not have things that are in stock or out of stock. Obviously, if you do, you can go through and you can walk those through the eyes of your customer. What is it that they're feeling? Well, when you are a business that has service-based items or different things that you can do for them, how easy is it for them to navigate all those things that you can do? Is it confusing? If you have a website, for example, and it states, does it tell them all the different services that you offer? Now, I don't want you to put everything in the kitchen sink on there. Obviously, we don't want to do that, because obviously if you go to a Home Depot and you go into the fastener aisle alone, there's thousands and thousands of SKUs down that aisle. No, but the big things, you know what? When you go into a big box retailer, you're going to know that there's a clothing section, kids, adults, food, electronics. When you come through your business, does your website or the way that they go to find you, does it clearly state what products and services you offer so that they know they've come to the right place? I want you to walk your business through your customer's eyes, but also use the lessons you can learn from any big box retailer. Is the pricing easy to understand, or is it confusing? Do they have to jump through hoops to try to figure that out? If you have the type of business that has displays or something that they need to look at in order to be able to make a decision, do you have that? For example, let's just say you own a small-time carpet or blind business. Do you have samples that were made 10 years ago that look terrible today? I know that's a cost and expense, but is that what they're looking at, or have they been kept fresh? You can have older displays. It's just a matter of how clean are you keeping them, or have they picked up all the junk from sitting and rolling around in the back seat of your car? How long do they have to wait to be able to get what it is that you offer? For example, if they call up and they need to be able to have this service done, are they going to be able to get it done sometime in the next week or two? Or is this something that's going to take them 5 to 6 weeks to get? Now, even if it's going to take them 5 to 6 weeks to get, here's the thing you have to ask yourself. Is that standard for the industry? Or is this something that they're going to be able to go to your competitor and be able to get sooner? Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing depending upon what it is that you do. For example, right now, if you're in landscaping, it's taking people a really long time to be able to get the brick, and that's going to be something that's happening to everybody. And if you're the best, they're going to be willing to wait. But if it's something that they have an emergency at their home right now, or at least what they perceive to be an emergency, are they going to be able to get what it is that they need on a quick basis? One more aspect of that big box retailer I want you to keep in mind is the end. When they're done and they go to check out, is this an easy way for them to check out, or do we make it difficult? In some cases, they have to wait in this long-ass line, or they have to try to check themselves out, and some people like that, some people don't. Don't get me started on that, because I can explain to you from a business standpoint. I can argue both ways, but overall, is what they thought they were paying what they were actually paying? Or did they get to the register thinking they were going to spend $100 and it turns out it's $200 because something wasn't priced right? What about in your business? Is it very clear if they think that they're spending $79.99, but when they get to check out with you, it's $132? Are they going to be shocked by that? Or was it clearly communicated to them as to what that price was going to be when they got to the end? Oh, here's another one when it goes to checkout. Let's just say someone comes and does business with you, and let's just say it comes to, $369. And you give them two ways that they can pay. One is a check or cash, because they can give that to you right now. But let's just say they say, hey, is there any way that I can pay online? And you say, yeah, you can go ahead and pay online. But what you failed to tell them is that there's 10% jacked up for them using that. How are they going to feel when all of a sudden they have to spend an extra $40 to pay you? I understand that it sucks on your end because that's what your company charges you. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind, you want this customer to have a good experience and you want this customer to come back. And if all of a sudden they're finding out they're paying 10% more, is that really going to leave them happy? I did one time with a roofing company, and it was like, I want to say it was like $5,000. And I was nowhere near them because they were a couple hours away, and I was going to pay online so they can get their money right away, right? I go to pay, and all of a sudden it's an extra $500 for me to pay them. I'm like, no, you could wait the slow way 7 days to get a check. And I look out because I actually had checks. Most people today don't even have checks. Listen, if you have to charge somebody 10% in order to be able to get their money, then you've got the wrong payment system. I'm just telling you that now, because that is crazy, especially in today's world. In today's world, there's so many different options for people to be able to pay you. You have to be able to be looking for that because nobody's going to be paying 10% on top of that. Once again, it's the customer experience. Or how about this one? When let's just say it's a hardware store, they go to do a project and they get all the way home only to discover that the salesperson forgot to give them one of the key parts to what they needed to be able to install what it is. Let's just say it's a garbage disposal and they needed some plumber's putty, and they get all the way home and they need some plumber's putty. Plumber's putty is about $5, less than $5. Are they going to get back in their car and go through that entire experience again to go get this $5 worth of plumber's putty? No, they're going to go to the local hardware store and pay $7, $8 for it because there's no way they want to go through that experience again. So with your business, what are they going to experience anything like that as well? Are they going to feel as if they were cheated or something was left out or that some piece of it was missing or dang, I wish they would have told me they could have done this for this amount of money. I would have totally jumped on it. A simple add-on sale that would have given you more profit. You were already there anyways, and it would have made a much better experience for the customer. Or are they going to have regrets later when they've lived with this thing for a week or two to go, oh, I wish they would have told me I could have done this. Folks, we do this all the time. I need each and every one of you to slow down, and I want you to go from beginning to end and walk your business through your customer's eyes. What is it that they experience all the way down? When your truck or vehicle pulls up, is it disgusting? Are the letters falling off? Has it not been through a car wash in about 10 years? Have you not even hosed it off? You know what? The uniforms. I get there are some jobs that you're just going to be disgusting. If you clean septic tanks, guess what? When you show up, you're not going to smell like a bed of roses. But for a lot of you, does your crew have to show up looking horrible? Do you have to show up looking like you haven't washed those pants you're wearing for the last week? I get why you do the things that you do, but what is it that your customer is experiencing? Okay, you're a lot, especially for those of you that go into people's homes, they are letting you into their home. And I get not everybody lives clean, and I get that some houses are absolutely disgusting. I sell real estate, for God's sakes. I see some of the most disgusting things out there, just like you do. But I'm telling you, it is still their home. They do not realize that's how they live. And I'm always amazed and surprised by what people think. But listen, it's their home. How do you go into their home? What experience do they have with your business? Now, I don't want this to go on for days and days, but I really do want you to think about your business. And hopefully a couple things have resonated with you. Though sometimes the best way to walk your own business is to do it through the eyes of another business, which is why we were using this big box retail experience. Because I promise you, your clients go through something very similar each and every time that they use your business. From the beginning, when they're even trying to get a hold of you and try to reach you. And then from the time that they're interacting with you. And then from the time that they're experiencing your whole service or products that it is that you deliver, from their checkout system with you to the aftercare. You know, do you follow up on them? Do you check to make sure everything's right? From their payments. There's so many different aspects that overlap. There's so much that we have in common. At the end of the day, a customer wants something from someone and they want to have a great experience in getting it from beginning to end, whether it's a big box retailer or if it's your business. I challenge each and every one of you to take a few minutes and just go through what it is that you're experiencing. And by the way, not the one that you think you're giving, all right? Because I'll guarantee you think it's 10 times better than what it actually is. Find somebody that you know, like, and trust who will be honest with you, who will give you the tough love that you probably need. Have them do it. You know what? Have surveys or check in with your clients or let them know, hey, we want to do better by you. So we appreciate the love, but hey, what can we do better? How could we make this a 9 to a 10 experience? Or if you had a 10 experience, how could we make it an 11? Well, everything was great. No, it's okay. I know it's great, but what could my business do to make it that much better? Give people permission to give you bad information. Give people permission to be able to be a little bit critical. It doesn't take away from their love. It just means they love you more because they care and they want you to be better. I could go into every single one of my favorite stores or my favorite locations or my favorite businesses, and I could sit there and go, well, now that you mention it, you probably need to clean your bathrooms a little bit more often. They're kind of hit and miss on a regular basis. Oh, well, I wouldn't have thought about that. Thanks. Especially if the store is run by a guy, how often do you think they're going into the women's bathroom or vice versa? Because believe it or not, I will tell you right now, guys, sometimes your bathrooms are worse than the women's bathrooms, but hey, that's something totally different. But listen, I want to make sure that each and every one of you is taking the time to walk your business through your customer's eyes. I'm going to stop rattling right now. I think you get the message. And I challenge you to do this because I've actually had really good feedback when people have done this. And by the way, when you do this, I challenge you to do this once a month, if not at least every 3 months, do this. In the big box retailers, we actually do it on a daily basis. And even when I had my ice cream shop, I did it every single week. I started outside from the customer parking to what was on the garbage on my windows. Could they see in? Did it make sense? Think about it. Next time you pull up to a location, look at all of the posters and the things that they have on their windows. Is it even relevant? I'll tell you what, most of you are going to go through a drive-through fast food place. Check the stuff on their windows. Is it relevant? Does it make sense? start looking at your other businesses through the eyes of a customer, and you'll start to see what I'm doing. So just do that for today. All right. For today's lesson, just look at another business through your eyes as a customer, and then internalize it and say, hey, what do my people go through? So that's your mission today. Let's change it up a little bit. I want you to look at other businesses that you come in contact with for the next few days through the eyes of a customer, and what is it that they experience? And then I want you to take all of that and go back through your business. I think you're going to find that it's a great exercise for you, and I think that you're going to find a lot of things that you could take back to your business. And I'm going to say goodbye, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, badass business owner, before you go, as you know, I'm a huge believer in you knowing your business numbers. After all, it isn't about how much you sell, it's about what you keep. And the best way to grow your profits is to start diving in and understanding those business numbers. To help you on this journey, I have created the Know Your Business Numbers course. We will walk through how to read your profit and loss statement. You'll learn the key calculations that'll help ensure that you're making a healthy profit on all of your products or services, plus a ton of other good stuff that'll help you learn how to use those business numbers to create even more sales and profits. Just check out the link below in the show notes or visit knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. So if you're ready to increase those profits, it's time you start diving into your business numbers.